Hi everyone. We're going to work on these three division problems we have for dividing complex numbers. And the one thing when you get this problem, this is number 13, 3 over 3 plus 2i, the one thing that we do on these is we multiply the denominator by its conjugate. And the conjugate of 3 plus 2i is 3 minus 2i. So we'll just kind of keep that here as a note. And I'm going to multiply the bottom by 3 minus 2i. And when I do it to the bottom, I'll do it to the top so that we don't change the value. So essentially what we're doing is we're getting the complex part out of the denominator, and the conjugate lets that happen. Let's see why that works. When I go and FOIL, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times negative 2i is negative 6i, 2i times 3 is positive 6i, and 2i times negative 2i is negative 4i squared. And this is my denominator. So I have 9, and then this cancels out. The negative 6i and positive 6i cancel out. Minus 4 times negative 1, which is the same as 9 plus 4. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, which is 13. We have, by multiplying, we've taken the I out. We don't have any imaginary numbers in the denominator anymore. And then if we just use the distributive property, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 2i is negative 6i. And then, I'm going to section off this work here a little bit and write my final answer as 9/13 minus, I'll put both parts of the numerator over 13, minus 6/13i. My imaginary part, or my real part, sorry, is 9/13, and my imaginary part is negative 6/13. So 9/13 minus 6/13i is what that one turns out to be. All right, look at number 15. All right, we're good. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of 3 plus 6i, which is 3 minus 6i. I'll just extend this a little ways and multiply the top by 3 minus 6i. This will get rid of the I in the denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and do the denominator first. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 6i is negative 18i. 6i times 3 is positive 18i. And 6i times negative 6i is negative 36i squared. The negative 18 and positive 18 cancel, and you got 9 minus 36, and I squared is negative 1. And that is 9 plus 36, which is 45. So there's my denominator. I'm going to write it down here. My denominator is 45. My numerator I get by the distributive property, and I've got 2i times 3 is 6i. 2i times negative 6 is negative 12i. And oops, negative 12i squared, be careful there. And that is 6i minus 12 times negative 1. Remember, I squared equals negative 1 over 45. And that's positive 12, and I'm going to write it first. And then that's positive 6i, I'll write it second, over 45. Now let me work my way up here. That's 12/45 plus 6/45 I. Now, just so happens, I'll section this off here a little bit here. Just so happens that we have a greatest common factor in 12 and 45 of 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 45 divided by 3 is 15. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 45 divided by 15 is, or divided by 3 is 15 again. So I got 4/15 plus 2/15 I. And that's my best answer here. I keep running out of room, don't I? So, let's do this last one. Number 16. I'm going to try something different here. See how it shows up. I better not. Okay. I am going, now I have, you're only going to use the conjugate of the denominator. The conjugate of 2 minus 3i is 2 plus 3i. Remember, when we multiply this, this is going to become a real number. What you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. Okay. Now let me see if I can get everything written there. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3i is positive 6i. Negative 3i times 2 is negative 6i. Negative 3i times positive 3i is negative 9i squared. Negative 9i squared. Okay. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3i. Got to write that smaller. 6 times 3i is 18i. Negative I times 2 is negative 2i. Negative I times 3i is negative 3i squared. I squared. Okay, I'm running out of room. Sorry about that. Let's make this a little cleaner. I'm going to take 12, my numerator, 12 plus, now 18 minus 2i is 16i, minus 3 times negative 1, the denominator, 4, positive 6i and negative 6i cancel out, that's minus 9 times negative 1, taking the I squareds out, putting negative 1 in their places, so I have 12 plus 16i plus 3 over 4 plus 9. 12 and 3 go together, that's 15 plus 16i. 4 plus 9 is 13. My final answer, I'm going to write in 2 separate fractions. 15/13 for the real part plus 16/13 I. 16/13 for the imaginary part. Well, there you go.